Hey, what's up, everybody? It's a beautiful spring day. I'm in my own backyard. Crows are chirping, the dogs are barking. It's springtime. Very enjoyable. I just wanted to tell everybody about my experience. I, probably the most normal, average, all-American dude, did my first flotation tank. That's right. And it probably couldn't have happened to a better person because I have no attachment to any kind of spacey cosmic mumbo jumbo or anything like that. So that's why I wanted to share my experience now. Granted, I've done my research, so I knew what to expect and what not to expect. Maybe I said that wrong. I was open to the fact that perhaps maybe I could have expected or seen or experienced something outlandish, but before I get ahead of things, I'll try my best to relate what I experienced, which was tangible and real and cool. So here goes. After the guy who owned the tank gave me the walkthrough and the talk-through in almost a ceremonial kind of way, it seemed like he had done this a bunch of times. It was his own practice. He was a yoga instructor who also had a flotation tank. He got me in, helped me to be comfortable, let me know not to get any salt in my eyes, things like that. And the lid was closed, and I was in complete darkness and floating in the, super saturated salt water. Instantly, the feeling that I got was, just to be able to relate it, I felt as clear as reality. My body began to do this. Not my head, just my whole body. And it was whirring vertically, spinning. And I wonder if any of you YouTube watchers who have floated have experienced that. The sensation of just simply like the coolest Disneyland ride ever, just floating. Now I'm, just this, again, an average guy out there, not saying I'm a doubter or a believer. I think that I was the perfect person to experience my first float. The next thing that I sensed was that my body began to pitch like this. And if you remember the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, where the ship, HAL, the computer, and the ship, which, the ball on the end and the motor, and is a long ship, there's one sequence in the sequel of it where it's pitching this way and the guy has to grab onto it. My body began to roll vertically, end over end, and I'm feeling this. I'm experiencing it like I'm really touching my hand right now. It's happening. And then, and this is something that was very routine, is that I had no sense of time at all, and very disorienting because it's dark. I mean, I didn't open my eyes because I was actually afraid of getting any salt in it and concerned about that ruining my experience. So I was able to keep my eyes shut, and really I was trying my best to simply relax, just relax, just relax. And I kept saying over and over to myself, let go, let go, let go. And your ears are under the water, like this deep. It's just, so I became aware of my heartbeat, deep heartbeat, breathing constantly, and boom, I felt the sensation of hitting the side of the tank. And this bummed me out because whatever relaxation I had gained was completely lost at that point. And I was back in kind of like me mode, me being, tangible, not floating or anything like that, but just, oh crap, now I have to get myself centered in the tank again. So I managed to, but it was like an episode of boom, hitting this side of the tank, slowly auto-correcting, and boom, hitting that, and then all of a sudden, oh, your feet are touching, or whatever. I'm kind of a tall guy, 6'4", and the tank was really, really pretty huge, but after some time, I don't know, again, time is meaningless. What is time in the tank? Can you dig? I was able to square myself in the tank, and then once I did, and remember, this is my first float of many to come. Then from there on, I started to experience what I humbly will say would be images. Some were foggy, but some were really vivid and wild, and just faces and eyes, and there was one really clear thing that for a split second happened to me that I thought, oh gosh, I wish it only I could have been in there longer. What was from the left side of my consciousness, a gigantic, and when I say gigantic, it was a huge, huge ball of some kind, undescribable. Words just go right out the door, of something glowing, and it appeared like it had flowers blooming off of it, but the flowers were both flowers and at the same time they were on fire, but blue. So, don't ask me. And as soon as I began to focus on it, it was gone. I mean, it's like fleeting, cool. Oh, and one other thing. Now there are like thousands of other things when I began to actually relax. The images of just strange things that even as I talk into this camera, I realize that if I say this out into YouTube, people will just think I'm freaking nuts, and and I'm just a dad. I'm just a guy, Images of insect faces, things like the eye of Christ out in space. This was one of those things that was kind of foggy, where I wished, man, that there was a way to make this clearer. Again, this is my first float, so who knows? And there was also something, and this kind of like scared me. It didn't comfort me. It was just kind of odd and very powerful. There was a sound, a really like low, deep sound, that I thought that the dude who was the yoga instructor and the host might have been, I don't know, it was like, it made me question as to whether or not I was hearing something that was from outside of the tank, or like, how could something so clearly resonating, I mean, it was like this sound like permeated my being, whatever being I was, because the temperature of the water kind of makes your body kind of disappear, and I could hear this very low sound that so shook me, and then right after that, I just seemed to recall the sound, as he said, that would let me know that it was time to basically get out. I managed to come through it without getting any salt in my eyes, and felt like, yeah, this thing is something that I'm probably going to make sure is a part of my life. I recommend everybody out there find one of these places in your neighborhood, in your city. Treat yourself to a birthday present. If people ask you, hey man, what do you want for your birthday? Tell them, I want to go float for an hour and a half in salt water. Peace, everybody. Best of luck to you on your journeys. I hope that everybody finds what they're looking for out there.